Yeeflow allows users to customize individual permissions for every component within the application. This means that you can set distinct controls for viewing, adding, and editing data in the data list, define submit and view permissions for approval forms, and set view permissions for dashboards. By setting granular permissions for different components, flexible permission control in various business applications can be met. To begin, let's explore how to handle the data list with personalized permissions. Navigate to the Projects of Excellence application and access the project's data list. To access permissions for the data list, simply click the More Settings button at the top right corner of the page. Next, select List Settings from the drop-down menu and then click on Permissions within the window that appears. By default, data lists will inherit administrative permissions from the application. However, you have the option to break this inheritance and assign separate permissions for individual data lists. In the List Permissions window, turn off the Inherit from Application option. Then, click on the Edit button below to set up distinct administrators for the list as well as separate users for editing and viewing records. To set specific permissions, simply click on the Advanced Permissions button below. A pop-up window will appear, and you can adjust the necessary permissions for edit, delete, new, import, and export operations. You can set permissions for specific users, departments, user groups, etc. Additionally, you may utilize the List field within the data list to set dynamic data permissions. Here, for example, you can select the owner field in the project list, and then select the Edit and Delete actions. This setting allows only the owner for each item to edit or delete its corresponding item. The data list supports the creation of multiple data views, and you can control access to the data by setting up different views. When data list is created, an All Items list view is generated by default. Click on the drop-down arrow located on the left side of the current view. Click on the Add New View button in the drop-down menu below to create a new data view. Let's select the list view here and set the view name as My Projects. Set URL as MyProjects. Click the settings of the display fields to select the fields which will be included in this data view. After that, click on the Data Filter and select the Settings button to access the Data Filters dialog. Here you can set the filter condition to owner being equal to the current user. Finally, save your settings by clicking the OK button to create the data view. This view will show only projects for which the current user is in charge. To manage the submission and viewing permissions for approval forms, go to the New Project Approval form you previously created. Click on the More Settings button located on the right side and select the Edit Permissions option from the pop-up menu. Within the Submission Permissions setting, you have the option to either grant access to all users or restrict submission to specific individuals. Similarly, View Permissions determine who can view submitted application forms. You can also set the appropriate permissions accordingly. To set access permissions for the dashboard, first navigate to the Reports page you previously created. Click on More Settings, located at the top right corner of the page, and select Permissions. Next, go to the Dashboard Permissions setting window and click on the Edit button to authorize either all users or specific users to view this page. In addition, you can also set separate permissions for other components of the application, such as document libraries, forms, and reports. Thanks for watching.